All right. Hello. Good morning, probably. Welcome to the Wealth Approach. So, this is going to be a show where we walk through what we call our wealth approach. And that's really how we start to work with families and bring them through the journey of reviewing their wealth and kind of enhancing everything that they have in place. So, to start, we'll go through a legacy series where we actually work through what the wealth approach is. And then after we get through dissecting that further in future episodes, we will do case studies for different families that hopefully you can relate to and might help you in making decisions in the future and looking around corners. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Megan Kowalski. I am here with J.R. Gondeck. We are partners and advisors with the Learner Group. And today we're just going to start with kind of our why. Why have we really built out this wealth approach and what has brought us here today? So Jared, you want to get started with that?
Well, if you think about the why and why start communicating now, it just, we look at the way I like to think about it is the old way of the industry, where it's gone and where it's going. And the approach was never always was bad to focus only investments, but that was much of the industry. Let's make more money. It's a transaction. Let's build up the wealth. And over the years, our business has evolved where we'd see that approach work very well over the years to build up the wealth. But then unfortunately, there wasn't any communication between spouses. We weren't prepared as a business 20 years ago to help families from beginning to end. And we saw over the years that money might be lost in translation between generations or between spouses. There wasn't communication around the legacy. So what's happened in the last 20 years is you've gone really as an industry from only transaction focus for the most part to the focus of planning overall. And we've been now at Hightower for 10 years, and the independent side of the business is very much focused on planning first, communication overall. And it's fortunately for all of us and everyone listening, the whole industry continues to evolve in that direction. Overall, investments are important, that you need them to meet your goals, but it's not the sole focus of our business anymore. It really needs to be all encompassing. And it's just the timing of kind of launching this series we think is timely in a lot of ways, to just continue to build education for everyone, for people we work with, people that are listening, you name it, to find the better way and continue to push the industry forward with planning focused mentality.
And I think it's really easy to say a breakdown of communication and for people to kind of write that off like, oh, of course, but there are some very strong facts behind those statements that Jared made. For instance, there was a study done, and we'll source everything later, but there was a survey done. And if you look from generation 1 to 2, generation 1 creates the wealth. 70% of the wealth is lost by the second generation, 90% by the third, and only 10% is left for the fourth. And if you break down why the wealth is lost, 60% of the reason is communication for why the wealth is lost, followed by 25% is having the heirs just not adequately prepared. And that could just be they had no idea they were going to inherit $50 million at age 50, and they don't even know what that would entail. So there's a lot more data behind this, but it is very fascinating if you kind of dig into that, how important financial literacy really is. And there's another study that shows that 87% of parents think that kids learn financial literacy at school. And the kids surveyed said that 90% of them learn financial literacy or anything they know about money from home. So there's clearly a huge breakdown in communication. And that's why we have found it is so imperative to really bring these issues at the forefront of every meeting we have with clients and every decision we make, both within the team with continuing education, as well as with the families we work with really focusing on this because it's a much larger issue than meets the eye.
And when you think about that, Megan, what resources if you're listening and don't work with us today or have another, what do you want to think about when you want to take your family from beginning to end? From an advisor, from a team perspective, what resources, what credentials, what are things that are very helpful to ensure that you're with the right team that could take you all the way through?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. And I think obviously first and foremost is to make sure that you're working with a licensed advisor, and that you should be able to check on broker check. You should also be able to see if there's any discrepancies in their history to make sure that they are reputable. But in addition to that, an advisor is great and that's a good place to start. But when we are really working through these very robust family plans, we call them, and that's because they're not necessarily just a financial plan for one household. It's really a multi-generational plan for the entire family. For instance, we have a family we work with, all four generations, almost every family member, including babies all the way up to great 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 grandma. So this plan is obviously very robust. And to dig into the details of what needs to be done for something like that, you need more than just an advisor overlooking that. So we have CFAs on our team, CPWAs, CFPs, CPAs, and then obviously an abundance of credentials beyond that. But you really need a robust team built out, as well as we even have estate attorneys that we work with directly on staff that can really dig into some of these nuances that we dig into with our families. And then also you have to really know when this is not your area of expertise, you need to outsource this specific, very niche issue to a specialist and find them. So it's really finding someone or a company that has a robust team behind them that can build out these robust plans so that every person and everything is kind of accomplished and everything is looked around the corner and they're capable of doing it all as well.
And when I think about the last 20 plus years, Megan, a lot of those alphabetic terms you use, we didn't have any of that on our team. It wasn't needed. It was investment focused. You didn't need a term. That was all outside of where things are. And it's just us, and I think the whole industry understanding what family needs are, how they've evolved, how busy everybody is today to not want to focus on this. Because I think one of the challenges we see for so many, this is very complicated, whether it's investments, whether it's estate, whether it's a financial plan. And families, especially matriarch and patriarch, you want to think of yourself like the CEO or the co-CEO of your family wealth or overall. You don't need to know the marketing and the finance and everything and be the expert. But you need to be aware and up to speed of where things are from a high level. And that's how you can make decisions, feel in control, feel empowered to keep the communication overall. And again, from a team in whom you're working with perspective, it's helpful to have all these specialists that can report the simple where things are back to you so you can repeat it back to your family and feel in control. And that's really the evolution of what we found the last 10 plus years for sure.
And in addition, I would say another kind of sore spot or something that was overlooked in the past is really meeting families where they're at. So we like to really bring diversity to the forefront of both just our team dynamics, but also our family meetings or how we work with clients. So we've found that having a balanced approach, sometimes it's demographics, male, female, different backgrounds, and then sometimes it's also just age-based. Some people are more comfortable working with older generations. Some, especially kids, are more comfortable relating to younger advisors or younger team members that we work with so that they can understand it at their level and feel comfortable that they really know what's going on. So we really try to integrate that into how we work with families to make sure that everyone's on the same level of competency and they're understanding and comfortable with what's going on. And we found that that approach works really well.
Well, it's not only family planning, as we've seen, our business itself is more than half female to male dynamic, both from advisor and decision maker. It works in families, it works in businesses overall. It's just good for that diversification. Got to stop, listen, take all viewpoints. And again, when you're open and listen, you come up with better results, better communication with family, it's better decision making. It works. And it's something that you have to believe in and embody. And it's something we value a lot as an overall business.
And I think one really important factor that's changed is transparency. So that's something that we take very seriously within our team. That's how we structure our investments. We do one wrapped fee so that you can see not only every investment that you're in with individual securities, but also the fee is one rep fee. You know exactly what you're paying for, and everything else is encompassed. So with transparency, we also need that from the families we work with. And we found that in the past, due to previous experiences, many times people are afraid to share their full picture and what that includes. And if you think about it, and let's say you want to bring $1 million to an advisor, it's really hard for them to give a well thought out decision with how you should invest that million and not see the rest of the actual picture. Because how are they supposed to know how aggressive it should be and all of that? So we found that transparency from that aspect and really sharing has helped so much in having more well thought out plans. And it's not that we want to have all of the funds custodied under us. We want to be the quarterback and kind of be able to call the points. And maybe it's you have a bond trader over here or you have a pension fund over here, but we need to know how that integrates with your fuller plan to give a well thought out plan for the family in general.
Well, it reminds me of our founder, Gene Lerner. Megan, we were talking about that. One of the things he always used to say is 3 things you could do with money. You could spend it, you can give it away, or give it to the government, right? And a lot of good planning is trying to minimize that. And with your $1 million example, if you come to an advisor and say, I have $1 million to invest, where are you going to put it? Well, if I don't know what your overall net worth is, it might go in the wrong title of account, and you're going to cancel out good investing with bad tax planning. And it's just the ability of simple examples like that to make sure you're sharing enough information and have the right approach. Again, not to want everything here. It's really from that, do the right thing and kind of the fiduciary approach with family planning.
Agreed.
So Megan, as we're thinking about things, let's get a little more specifics on the things ahead with future recordings. What does the wealth approach mean, and what are we going to specifically go through in the future?
Yeah, so the next few episodes, we're going to have team members walk through a little bit more specifically with what the wealth approach entails. There will be pre-family meeting. There will be what documents you should prepare or what conversations you should have between spouses or between family members ahead of meetings, after meetings, during meetings, and then really just what that process looks like. So there will be a few episodes following this that really dig into what that looks like. After that, we're going to be building in case studies. For example, we could have one where if you have multiple rental properties, what's the best estate structure you should do to protect your family from an asset protection standpoint? So we'll have different guests from the team, maybe estate attorneys pulled in at different times where it makes sense, and really go through that. So next recording will be based on, I think, the pre-family meeting. We'll have to check into that, but there's more to come, and we're very excited to share this with everyone.
Well, it's fun, to your point, Megan. When you think about the evolution of what's happened and where things are going, I think it's important to just continue, because a lot of times you'll go through this approach, and once you're done, are you done? No, it's a constant effort and communication to get all this through. And again, from a standpoint of running a company, back to the CEO, co-CEO example, it's not like you get the quarterly results and then you go off and don't look and run your business again. No, it's a constant, consistent cadence of following through with all of this fitting together and communication. Again, simplicity is important for understanding and feeling in control of everything for your family. So we hope to continue to help give tools and discussion around that with these future episodes.
Agreed. All right. So I think that's pretty much all we have for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.